The unexpected inheritance. The room was shrouded in shadows, lit only by the pale, flickering glow of a cracked street lamp filtering through the dusty blinds. Jake's pulse pounded in his ears, louder than the rain drumming against the window pane. 3 figures stood silently before him. Identical girls, no older than 20, with eyes that shimmered faintly like distant stars. "Dad," the tallest whispered, her voice both foreign and familiar, cutting through the suffocating silence. Jake's breath hitched. "Dad," the word echoed in his mind, impossible yet undeniable. He blinked hard, hoping to wake from some surreal dream, but the 3 girls remained, unwavering and earnest. Behind him, the front door groaned open on creaking hinges. His gaze flicked toward the threshold where a battered duffel bag lay abandoned. On the porch, next to a half-empty bottle of amber liquid that smelled faintly of fermented grains, and something else, something otherworldly. The air grew colder, heavy with the weight of unspoken truths. The girls stepped forward, their movements graceful but edged with an unnatural stillness. Jake's heart hammered against his ribs as questions tangled in his throat. How did you get here?" His voice was rough, barely above a whisper. The girl in the middle knelt and produced a small metallic cube from her pocket. It vibrated softly in his palm, glowing with symbols that twisted and shifted like liquid light, alien runes he couldn't decipher, but somehow felt deeply familiar. "Our father traded us," she said, her voice breaking like a fragile glass, for booze. "We were his collateral. We have nowhere else. Now, you're our only home." Jake staggered backward, confusion and disbelief clashing inside him like thunder and lightning. An alien father, trading his daughters for alcohol. The absurdity nearly made him laugh, but the raw sincerity in their eyes froze the laughter on his lips. A distant siren wailed outside, sharp and urgent, weaving with the thunderclap to rattle his bones. His eyes darted back to the cube, now pulsing like a heartbeat, syncing with the frantic rhythm of his own chest. A dizzy wave washed over him, the room tilting and twisting. For a fleeting moment his vision fractured, stars swirling in cosmic dance, strange ships hurtling through voids of black, voices not his own whispering secrets he barely understood. "Please," the youngest stepped forward, trembling. Her, and reached for his, fragile but desperate. "We're not safe. Our father's enemies are hunting us. You're the only one who can protect us." Jake's mind reeled. He was a mechanic, a man who fixed broken cars and occasionally helped out at a neighborhood bar. Nothing in his ordinary life had prepared him for this. 3 alien daughters, dumped on his doorstep like forgotten luggage, claiming him as their father. Behind him, the sound of the door slamming shut jolted him fully awake. A silhouette stood framed in the moonlight, a figure tall, menacing, and shadowed beyond recognition. "We're coming for them," the voice rumbled low and cold. Instinct flared. Jake's feet rooted into the floor, his eyes locked onto the girls, fear and determination mingling in their gaze. "Stay close," he said, voice steady though his insides churned. "No matter what happens, I'm not letting you go." The air snapped, with tension as footsteps thundered closer. Jake's mind raced. He needed a plan, but all he had was raw survival instinct. The next moments were chaos, rapid movements, hushed whispers, the metallic cube glowing brighter as the girls linked hands with Jake. The alien light bathed the room in an eerie glow, masking their hurried escape through back alleys and shadowed streets. Jake learned quickly that these girls were not human. Their senses were sharper, their strength uncanny, but so was their vulnerability. They carried memories of a past marked by betrayal and loss. And now they were tethered to him, an ordinary man suddenly thrust into an extraordinary role. The cube, their strange keepsake, was more than a trinket. It held a message, a warning, a call for help from a galaxy far beyond Earth's borders. With each step away from the danger, Jake felt the fragile threads of a new family weaving between them, an alien legacy intertwined with human heartbeats. But questions gnawed at him. Who was their father? And why would he sacrifice his daughters for a bottle of booze? What dark forces were hunting them? And how far would Jake go to protect the girls who now called him Dad? As dawn's first light crept over the horizon, Jake realized this was just the beginning. The start of a journey that would challenge everything he thought he knew about family, loyalty, and what it truly meant to be human. Shadows of the past. The early morning sun filtered weakly through the grimy windows of Jake's small apartment, casting long, pale shadows across the cluttered floor. The alien girls, Zara, the eldest, Lyra, the middle, and Mina, the youngest, sat silently on the worn-out couch, their eyes scanning every corner, alert and tense. Jake stood near the kitchen, trying to make sense of the impossible reality, settling like a storm inside his mind. They hadn't spoken much since the harrowing escape the night before. Words felt insufficient. Trust, even more so. Jake pulled a coffee mug from the cabinet and filled it with hot water, trying to keep his hands steady. He glanced toward the three girls, noticing how human they appeared, despite the faint shimmer beneath their skin and the subtle glow in their eyes. "Okay," Jake said finally, breaking the silence. "I'm going to need some answers. Who are you exactly? And what kind of trouble did your father get you into?" Zara, her eyes sharp and calculating, finally spoke. "We come from a place far beyond your stars. Our father, he was powerful, but reckless. When his debts to the wrong people piled up, he used us as collateral. The drink was his escape, his weakness." Lyra's voice was quieter, but her pain was clear. "We were just property to him, but he underestimated what we could become." Jake felt the weight of those words settle deep in his chest. He wanted to ask more, but he also understood this wasn't a story told lightly. Before he could say anything else, a sharp noise outside made them all freeze. Footsteps. Not random, purposeful, fast, coming closer. Jake's instincts screamed at him. "Get down!" he ordered. They ducked behind furniture as the door handle rattled violently. The girls shared a glance, a silent communication far beyond words. Zara's fingers brushed the metallic cube, which began glowing brighter, its hum intensifying. The door burst open. A figure stood silhouetted in the doorway, tall, cloaked in black, and wearing a mask that obscured their face. Their eyes, however, gleamed with a cold, merciless intent. "Hand them over, Jake. It's not too late to walk away," the stranger warned, voice low and chilling. Jake's heart pounded, but he stood his ground. "No, they're under my protection. Now," a slow smile crept beneath the mask. "You don't understand what you're dealing with." The figure raised a small device. A beam of light shot toward the cube in Zara's hand. The girls reacted immediately, raising the cube to shield themselves. A burst of blinding energy filled the room. Jake felt his knees buckle, but managed to hold onto the girls as the world seemed to shake. When the light faded, the intruder was gone. The door slammed shut. Silence. The girls looked shaken but unharmed. Jake swallowed hard. "Who was that?" Zara's eyes darkened. "They're called the Syndicate, a ruthless group that enforces debts and hunts those who defy them. Our father owed them more than he could pay." Mina's voice trembled. "They'll come back." Jake sat down, rubbing his temples. "Okay, so what now? How do we keep you safe?" Lyra pulled out a small holographic map from the cube, displaying a network of stars and planets, some marked with red flashing points. "We need to leave Earth," she said. "They won't stop hunting us here." Jake looked at the girls, their alien features etched with fear and determination. His life had been ordinary, work, bar, home. Now it was a chase across the stars. Suddenly, the cube beeped urgently. A new message appeared, a cryptic warning in alien script. Zara's face paled. It's a warning from the Resistance. Our father's enemies are closing in. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. The world he knew was gone. In its place was a web of secrets, danger, and a family bound by blood and survival. Then we start preparing, Jake said, standing tall. You're stuck with me now. The girls smiled faintly, hope flickering in their eyes. Outside, the city stirred awake, unaware of the cosmic storm gathering beneath its surface. The Resistance and the Choice Jake stared at the glowing holographic map hovering above the table. The constellations and blinking red markers represented danger zones, places he never imagined he'd care about. The weight of the alien girl's fate pressed on his shoulders like a mountain. Leaving Earth isn't just about running, Zara said quietly, breaking the silence. It's about joining a war that's been raging for centuries. Jake rubbed his face. War? What kind of war? Lyra's voice trembled slightly but was firm. Between factions, the Syndicate which hunts us and the Resistance who want to end their control. Mina looked up at Jake, her youthful eyes full of hope and fear. The Resistance saved us once. We have to find them again. They're our only chance. Jake's mind reeled. Just days ago, his biggest worries were rent and bills. Now he was supposed to become a guardian for 3 alien fugitives caught in a cosmic battle. Why me? He finally asked. Why not one of your people? Zara's expression softened. Because you're different, human. You have something. We don't. Heart, courage, and the will to fight even when hope fades. A flicker of warmth bloomed in Jake's chest. Maybe, just maybe, he could be more than an average mechanic. The next few hours passed in a blur. Jake helped the girls pack essentials. They prepared for a journey beyond Earth, but none could say exactly where or how. Then the cube pulsed again. A new message streamed in, this time a location, a hidden Resistance base deep underground just outside the city. Zara glanced at Jake. We need to move now. The Syndicate won't give up. Jake led the group through dark alleys and abandoned tunnels, their footsteps echoing softly. His heart pounded with every sound, every shadow possibly hiding danger. Do you have weapons? Jake asked, voice low. Mina shook her head. No, we rely on the cube's defense and each other. As they neared the Resistance coordinates, Jake's phone buzzed. A text. You're making a dangerous choice. Walk away now. No sender. He swallowed, but said nothing. The hidden base was a maze of tunnels lined with glowing symbols and advanced tech. Resistance members, humans and aliens alike, moved silently, eyes wary but welcoming. A tall woman stepped forward, her piercing gaze scanning Jake and the girls. I'm Commander Rhea, she said. You brought them here? Jake nodded. They're under my protection. Rhea studied him, then the girls. You've entered a war zone. The Syndicate doesn't forgive. Zara stepped forward. We want to help. The Resistance is our last hope. Rhea's eyes softened slightly. Then you're already part of this. Days passed. Jake trained with Resistance fighters, learning to defend himself and the girls. Slowly, the bond between them deepened. One night, sitting around a flickering fire, Mina whispered, Dad, why did you stay? You could have walked away. Jake looked at her, surprised. Because you're not just strangers. You're family. Now, Zara smiled faintly. You have no idea what that means to us. But peace was fragile. One evening, alarms blared. The Syndicate had found them. Jake grabbed the cube, which shimmered fiercely. Time to fight, he said, heart racing. The Resistance base plunged into chaos. Jake stood beside the girls, ready to face whatever came next. Not just for survival, but for the family he never expected to have. Betrayal in the shadows. The alarms echoed like a warning scream throughout the Resistance base. Red lights pulsed aggressively, casting flickering shadows on the cold metal walls. Jake's heart pounded as he scrambled to his feet, eyes darting around for the girls. "They're here," Zara said sharply, gripping the glowing cube tighter. Her voice trembled with a mix of fear and fierce determination. Outside, the Syndicate's forces had surrounded the base. Their advanced technology made it clear this was no ordinary raid. It was a full assault. Jake scanned the room. Resistance. Fighters rushed to battle stations, weapons drawn, but many looked tense, unsure against such a relentless enemy. "We need a plan," Jake muttered, stepping closer to Commander Rhea. Rhea's expression was grim. "We've prepared for this, but they've found a weakness we didn't expect. Someone inside the base is feeding them information." Jake's stomach twisted. "A traitor?" "Exactly," Rhea said. "We can't trust everyone." Tension. He cracked the air like electricity. Jake's gaze hardened as he looked around the dimly lit command center. Each person here was a possible betrayer, a threat from within. Zara's voice was steady but urgent. "We have to move the girls to a secure location. If the Syndicate finds them, it's over." Lyra helped Mina to her feet. "Stay close," she urged softly. Jake nodded. "I'll cover you." The group slipped through narrow corridors, shadows clinging to them like a second skin. Every footstep echoed dangerously loud, every whisper risked exposure. Suddenly, a door hissed open ahead. "Freeze!" a voice commanded. A figure blocked their path. It was Kieran, a resistance fighter Jake had come to trust. Jake's breath caught. "Kieran?" The man's eyes were cold, calculating. "Sorry, Jake. Orders are orders." Before Jake could react, Kieran lunged for the cube in Zara's hand. The glow flared wildly as Zara yanked it back, sparks flying. "You betrayed us," Jake growled. Kieran smirked. "The Syndicate pays well." A fierce struggle broke out. Jake grabbed a nearby metal pipe and swung it toward Kieran, who dodged just in time. The cube pulsed with energy, its light illuminating the grim scene. Zara shouted, "Run! Get the girls to safety!" Lyra grabbed Mina's hand, pulling her toward a side exit as Jake engaged Kieran. The fight was brutal, but mostly silent. Each strike desperate, driven by survival. At the last moment, Rhea appeared with two other fighters, forcing Kieran back. He snarled and retreated into the shadows. Outside, the city was a battleground. Syndicate drones buzzed overhead, scanning for targets. Jake, Zara, Lyra, and Mina raced through back alleys, heartbeats syncing with the frantic rhythm of their escape. "We can't stay here," Zara said between breaths. "We need to find a safer place." Jake looked around, searching for a refuge. His mind raced. There was only one place left, a secret outpost the Resistance rarely used, hidden deep in the mountains. "We're heading there," he decided. The journey was grueling. Exhaustion clawed at them as they navigated treacherous terrain and evaded patrols. One night, as they camped under the cold stars, Mina whispered, "Dad, why did Kieran do this? Why betray us?" Jake pulled her close. "Because fear and greed can make even friends turn against you, but we'll keep going, together." Zara looked up at the sky, determination hardening her features. "Our father's mistakes brought us here, but we decide our own fate." Days later, they reached the mountain outpost, a hidden sanctuary carved into the stone, shielded from scanners. Inside, the walls hummed with ancient energy, and a small group of Resistance survivors welcomed them. Rhea was waiting, relief flooding her face. "You made it." Jake nodded, feeling a moment of peace amid chaos. But deep inside, a nagging fear lingered. The Syndicate wouldn't give up, not while the girls held secrets that could topple their empire. And Jake realized the fight was far from over. Secrets. Unveiled in the ultimate sacrifice, the mountain outpost was quiet, almost too quiet. Jake sat against the cold stone wall, the cube resting beside him, its glow subdued for the moment. Outside, the wind howled, as if warning them the storm wasn't over yet. "Jake," Zara said softly, approaching with Lyra and Mina trailing behind her. "We need to talk." He looked up, tired but alert. "The cube," Zara began, "holds more than just a way to hide or fight. It's a key." Jake frowned. "A key to what?" Lyra stepped forward. "Our family's legacy. And the Syndicate's greatest fear. The cube can unlock an ancient power that could change everything." Mina's eyes sparkled with hope. "But it's dangerous. If the Syndicate gets it, they could enslave worlds." Jake's mind raced. The girls weren't just fugitives. They carried a legacy that could shake the galaxy's very foundations. "We have to protect it," Jake said firmly, "no matter what." Suddenly, the base's alarm system crackled to life. Rhea's voice boomed through the intercom. "Intruders detected. Prepare for immediate defense." Jake grabbed the cube, standing as the resistance fighters readied themselves. The Syndicate's forces weren't just after the girls anymore. They wanted the cube and everything it represented. The battle erupted in a blur of flashing lights and hurried footsteps. Jake found himself fighting alongside the girls, their bond stronger than ever. But then, amid the chaos, a piercing scream cut through the noise. Mina fell, clutching her leg, blood seeping between her fingers. "No!" Jake shouted, dropping everything to help her. Zara knelt beside Mina, eyes fierce with determination. "We need to get her out." As the firefight raged, Rhea made a decision. "We can't hold them off for long," she said urgently. "Jake, you and the girls must escape through the northern tunnel. I'll cover the rear." Jake hesitated. "You're coming with us." Rhea shook her head. "My place is here." With no time to argue, Jake and the girls fled, Mina limping but fighting to stay strong. The northern tunnel was dark and narrow, echoing with the distant sounds of battle. The cube's glow pulsed faintly, guiding their way. Suddenly Jake stopped. "Wait," he whispered. "There's something I need to do." Zara looked at him questioningly. "I have to face this. For Mina, for all of us. Before anyone could respond." Jake turned back toward the outpost. Rhea's sacrifice gave Jake and the girls a chance to escape, but the cost was heavy on his heart. Days later, in a hidden resistance safe house, Mina's wound slowly healed. The girls gathered around Jake, their silent thanks a balm to his soul. "We can't keep running," Lyra said. "The cube's power is awakening." Zara nodded. "And with it comes a choice, to fight or to hide forever." Jake looked at them, feeling the weight of their trust. "We fight," he said, "not just for us, but for everyone who can't." Outside, the stars shimmered with endless possibilities, but Jake knew their greatest battle was yet to come. The final choice. My humanity's triumph. The sky was heavy with dark clouds as Jake stood at the edge of the mountain outpost's ruins. The air was thick with silence, broken only by the distant hum of approaching ships, the Syndicate's final assault. Zara, Lyra, and Mina stood beside him, their faces steeled with determination. The cube pulsed between them, its glow brighter than ever, as if sensing the moment had come. "We can't let them take it," Jake said, voice low but resolute. Zara nodded. "This isn't just about us anymore. It's about every life under their shadow." Inside the command tent, Rhea's voice crackled through the comms. "Jake, this is your last chance to surrender." Jake shook his head. "No surrender. We fight." The squadron of Syndicate warships loomed overhead, their weapons locked onto the mountain sanctuary. "Ready your defenses," Jake shouted to the remaining resistance fighters. "This is the moment we show what humanity is made of." The battle erupted with ferocity. Lasers tore through the sky, explosions, lighting the night in deadly flashes. Amid the chaos, Jake and the girls moved toward the ancient chamber deep within the mountain, the place where the cube's true power could be unlocked. Mina clutched Jake's hand, her eyes wide but unafraid. "This is our future," she said softly. Inside the chamber, the cube began to glow intensely, reacting to their presence. Strange symbols shimmered on the walls, illuminating the hidden past of the girl's alien lineage. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the chamber. Deep, commanding, yet strangely familiar. "You carry the legacy of both worlds," it said. "The power to heal or destroy lies within your hands." Jake's heart pounded. The choice was clear. Outside, the Syndicate forces breached the sanctuary's perimeter. The resistance fighters fell back, their numbers thinning. Back in the chamber, the cube's light enveloped Jake and the girls. Visions flashed, memories of peace, war, love, and loss. Zara whispered, "We can end this cycle." Lyra nodded, "But only if we choose unity." Jake stepped forward, raising the cube high. "For humanity, for the future," he declared. Brilliant light exploded from the cube, sending a wave of energy that swept across the battlefield. The Syndicate ships faltered, their weapons failing as the energy cleansed the aggression within their systems. The fighting stopped. Silence fell. The resistance survivors emerged cautiously, witnessing the impossible. The Syndicate forces lowering their arms, their faces reflecting confusion and relief. Jake looked at the girls, tears in his eyes. "We showed them what it means to be human." Mina smiled. "We're not so different after all." Days later, peace talks began between the two worlds. Jake stood beside Zara, Lyra, and Mina as leaders signed agreements promising cooperation, understanding, and hope. The cube's power was no longer a weapon, but a symbol, a reminder that, even in the darkest times, humanity's greatest strength was compassion. As the sun rose over a new era, Jake thought back to the journey, the betrayals, the battles, the sacrifices, and he knew one truth. No matter where we come from, family and hope can change the stars, the end.